very honored and happy to have a conversation here with Kim Rometo, who is the Vice President and Chief Information Officer for the Dolphins, and obviously takes care of managing Hard Rock Stadium as well. And so, Kim, I just thought we'd take a moment to have a conversation and learn more about your role and how the Dolphins organization and Hard Rock has had an opportunity to partner with Diversified. So maybe you could tell us a little bit about your role in the organization.
Certainly. Well, Anthony, thank you so much for having me here today. It's a privilege. Diversified has done a lot for our organization, and so it's nice to be able to talk about some of the great work that we've done together. So I am the CIO of the organization, and that includes the Dolphins, Hard Rock Stadium, and the events that we put on at Hard Rock Stadium. That includes the Miami Open, all of the concerts, the University of Miami Hurricanes football games. So there's a lot to oversee when it comes to systems. So we've got football IT is one vertical. We've got all of the Hard Rock Stadium systems. I'm over all of broadcast, which is a big place where Diversified plays for us, obviously. And then your traditional infrastructure and finally application development.
Well, that is a lot of responsibility for sure. And again, I know that we've had the relationship for a while now, but maybe you could share a little bit about how long we've been working together, and not only that, you mentioned a lot of things. So maybe share a little bit how we've helped with some of the solutions and application for all those different responsibilities.
Of course. I'm a big believer in trust over time. And I think the relationship between the Dolphins and Diversified exemplifies that. So the relationship actually started a decade ago, before my tenure, when Diversified was one of the partners that was brought in to look at doing the design of the Hard Rock Stadium renovation. And it started in that kind of narrow scope. And as the trust grew, the engineering resources that were put before us were just phenomenal. And then the responsibility grew. So then there was the build component of the stadium. And it was a tremendous undertaking. For those who don't understand, we actually put a sun structure over our entire facility and had to have all of the new acoustics and everything, the engineering done so that sound coverage would be even and wouldn't reverberate off of that structure. From there, we continued to grow. We had Diversified as a integral part of the sound and experience for the Miami Open tennis campus. And then we worked with Diversified on our Baptist Health Training Complex. So we'll be moving in June, but that was a design build project as well. And that included all of the audio visual and all the broadcast components. And then we look forward to working with Diversified on some future projects that we will be announcing very, very soon. But I think it's been great to see the scope continue to grow. And then there've been these side projects that have come up that we didn't really even anticipate with the pandemic. For instance, we opened a movie theater an outdoor theater on our South Campus, and we're able to use the systems that Diversified put into place to be able to scale rapidly, deploy that in about a 6-week time period. And then I think it maybe just needs to be illustrated clearly. Diversified also then comes in and does staff augmentation for us during the major events. So we've hosted Super Bowl, we've hosted the national championship game, and we have Diversified resources here on site, creating an extensible experience for all of the additional broadcast requirements and things. On an average game day, for instance, we only have 4 broadcast trucks here. And for Super Bowl, it was about 120. So being able to scale out and make sure everybody has the feeds that they need. I mean, Diversified designed a control room that allowed for that kind of scale to host these major events.
Yeah, that's, again, it's a great partnership, really and truly. And as you mentioned, it's been going on for quite some time. And we're thrilled to be able to be a partner in a lot of those events, for sure. So when you think about it, you mentioned trust, and trust is the foundation of every relationship, right? So really appreciate that word. And maybe you could share a little bit about, how the teams, really get specific in helping, maybe in the engineering and the consulting and certainly the implementation, really the value prop that we can bring to the organization.
Mm-hmm. I think the value proposition for us is the depth of engineering resources that Diversified offers. I think we've brought some challenging projects over the years. We were trying to design a space where sound would propagate. We are in a community here in Miami Gardens, and so we wanted to keep the sound within the structured space, and having access to multiple audio engineers to review the design, to provide multiple ways of accomplishing the goal, and giving us that level level of comfort that what we were going to actually install was going to work in the way that the propagation, the design was laid out. On the broadcast side, we see the same technical resources. We actually have 4 engineers from Diversified here this week helping us stand up the new training facility. And there's a real sense of comfort from my staff to know that once a knowledge or a topic might go beyond where they're comfortable, they can pick up the phone, they can call that Diversified engineer, and that engineer, or any of the engineers, is going to be able to get them the answer that they need. We've even had situations on game day, where we actually lost one of our control panels during a game this season. We got Diversified on the phone, and within 20 minutes, we had figured out a way to reroute around the panel. So nobody who was here would have ever been the wiser that there was an audio issue. So it really is about those resources that are there to help you and want to be successful. They feel like an extension of the team.
Yeah, that's great. Well, appreciate you saying that. And, you mentioned a little bit about future projects. Can you let us in on a little secret maybe of what might be coming in the future? A little tease even?
Well, we're really, really excited about racing down here in Miami. Yeah. And that there should be a very large announcement coming very soon. I think we've kind of teased it out before, but the actual date will be coming very, very soon. And we're unbelievably excited about what that means for the greater Miami community.
Yeah, no, I agree with that, and being a racing fan myself, I hope I get the opportunity to maybe meet you and see you in person, because I haven't had the opportunity with this crazy pandemic to get down there. So,
hey, Anthony, I'm going to hold you to that. You're going to come down, and you're going to see what beautiful things we create together.
That's great. Well, again, really appreciate everything that you do, obviously, not only for the Dolphins, Hard Rock, but especially the relationship that you have with us. So appreciate that. And again, thank you for your time today and spending a few minutes with us.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for having me, and keep hiring those great engineers and keep sending them our way. We love working with everybody at Diversified.
Awesome. Thank you. I have the great pleasure of spending some time with Bill Schlough, who's the Senior Vice President and Chief Information Officer for the champion San Francisco Giants. I can say that as a former Bay Area guy.
A three-time champion.
Three-time champion. And it's a real pleasure having a chance to speak with you, Bill. And if you wouldn't mind spending some time just talking about not only the organization, storied organization, but even your role and the challenges you faced here the last few years with the Giants.
Sure. So I have been with the Giants, I think I lose track of time. This is my 23rd season coming up. I'm not sure if we count last season or not. It's my 23rd season here. Oversee technology, and I've been doing that ever since I got here. Same title, same office, same chair, pretty much, although we did build a new ballpark. I also wear some other hats. I am chairman of our minor league team down in San Jose. And in terms of challenges that we faced, I mean, I try not to look at these things as challenges. I look at them more as opportunities, although I got to be honest, the past year has definitely presented its share of challenges for us. But, really being a Major League Baseball team located here in the San Francisco Bay Area, I think we're held to a higher standard than other teams when it comes to technology specifically. We're held to a higher standard by our fans who expect more when they come to the ballpark. We're held to a higher standard by our owners as well, many of whom, have made their fortunes in the technology world. And I, again, don't view that as a challenge. I view it as an opportunity.
Yeah, that's great. Well, speaking of opportunities and technology, how long have you been working with Diversified? And maybe you can share a little bit about the solutions we've provided over the years.
Man, I got to think back a long time to the start of my relationship with Diversified. When we opened our ballpark back in those days, again, 20 plus years ago, even a color video board. It's funny, I feel like I'm dating myself relative to black and white TVs and color TVs, but color video boards were not the standard when we opened our ballpark in 2000. But we were one of the teams that had one, and it was an indoor board, but we were an outdoor venue. So we set it up in like a clean room environment, and it was using this advanced technology 20 years ago called fluorescent data tube, FDT. But, very relatively quickly, that became outdated. It was one of the last ones ever produced. And it was time for us to upgrade that video board and go full color with the entire board. And we evaluated a variety of providers of both the board as well as upgrading the control room to power that board. And this was 15 15 years ago, I believe. And ultimately, we awarded that business to Diversified, and they've been a tremendous partner ever since.
Well, we thank you for that. And I know that the technology has changed dramatically. So, maybe you could share a little bit about the benefits that Diversified has provided, in terms of the experience you've had and how you've worked with us over all those many years.
Honestly, I consider Diversified and the people at Diversified as an extension of our team. And it's not that I reach out to them when I have a specific project that we need to be done. They're just part of the family, and we're always having a back and forth conversation. And I love that my contacts at Diversified are proactive in reaching out to me when there are new technologies that they see that we should consider. And, we often talk in our organization about, treat the ballpark like your home. And, you're going to be prudent when you make investments. You're going to invest for the long term, not for the short term. And that's how Diversified approaches things with us. Ever since the beginning, when we first put that board in, from the start, they treated this as a partnership. And, I trust them as much as I do anyone on our staff. So continually over these 15 years, time and time again, we've gone back to Diversified. And sure, it's important to bid out projects and take a competitive approach. But at the same time, also, there's so much value to having a partner that you trust and is with you for the long haul. And that's who Diversified is for us.
Well, really appreciate that partnership, and I think that your comments about really being a partner and not just the word, but in action makes all the difference in the world. And as I look at the background there, certainly 2020, we've all lived through this experience together like no one ever has before, right? And just thinking about technology and thinking about the higher standard that you're held to. Maybe you could share a little bit about what the future looks like for you, some things that you're planning.
Sure. In recent years, we've really doubled down on investing in the fan experience at Oracle Park. There's more and more competition. And I'm not just talking about competition on the field, and I'm not even just talking about other sporting activities. It's just baseball is not the fastest sport. It's still a 3-hour game. And so we got to make sure that we continue to stay relevant and engage our fans when they're at the ballpark or engage them wherever they might be. So, a big focus for us has been leveraging technology to enhance that fan experience at the ballpark or to bring the game to fans wherever they happen to be. So at the park, we have recently invested in, this is now our 3rd video board, and we partnered with Diversified on this project 2 years ago. At the time, largest video board in the state. 3rd largest in baseball, and the first true 4K video board in all of baseball. Really proud of that. I remember when we were building it, we talked about, we really need to go that big. But, when's the last time you went out and bought a TV, put it on the wall and said, yeah, I think we went a little too big with that TV. It just doesn't happen. So if you're going to make the investment, you go all in. And we're very happy with how that's turned out. We're going to have to continue to enhance the quality of the images on that board. If you've been watching sports lately, I saw this on the Masters this weekend. I've seen it in football and baseball. The quality of some of these cameras when they're zooming in and the background blurs out and they focus in just on the player or the play. That's an area that really, again, enhances the experience. I think we think a lot about virtual reality and augmented reality and how in the future will a fan be able to watch our games basically from any angle they want. Not just from the front row, but from the field, right, from right behind the pitcher, from right behind the second baseman as a ground ball comes toward him. That's the future of volumetric video and virtual reality. But really the underpinning of all of this is driving increased engagement in our sport, whether you're at the ballpark or wherever you might be.
Yeah, that's exciting. Just hearing you speak about it gets me excited for the reality of it, or the virtual reality of it. Well, listen, Bill, this has been a real pleasure. Just spending a few minutes with you, listening to how you're helping the Giants and the fans just be better. And we at Diversified are very, very proud to partner with you and to be a part of that journey. So again, thank you for your time today. Really appreciate it.
Yeah, you're welcome. And I just want to reiterate in closing that, and how do I say this? You've got vendors and you got partners and you got family. Diversified is family to us.